listeners. This Sea Ranch Life, and today we've got Nitin Rao. Nitin is one of the newest members of the Sea Ranch board, just elected a couple of weeks ago, and he's going to give us a little bit of his time and let you all get to know him just a bit better. Nitin, thanks for joining us today.
George, thanks so much for having me. So after the election, I was lucky to see George at the Thespian Club's play, where George was about to write the review for the play, and then later on at the picnic by One-Eyed Jacks. So I hope the review went off well for the play. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I thought the review was okay. Everybody had a lot of opinions, but that's the nature of this. Everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
Speaking of opinions, let's talk a little bit about goals, particularly what you think the important goals are, or maybe the priorities that you and the rest of the board might face this year. What do you think is important?
So first, at the outset, it's a privilege to get to serve on the board, and so thank you both to you to sort of for the opportunity to be on your show, but also all the engagement from across folks at Sea Ranch. When we met and did some of the perfunctory steps of signing in as officers, etc. One of the things we spoke about was gosh, what should our priorities be? And we've heard a lot from folks over the last several weeks, but we also thought this was the time to put out a survey. And there was a great comment that Dane mentioned. And so really encourage everyone. You would have seen the link in the info alerts and otherwise. And George, if you wouldn't mind sharing with your YouTube as well, audience as well. The deadline is June 17th. We'd love to get feedback from everyone because the sequence has to be you get feedback from people and you use that to inform the goals, not you get the goals, come up with the goals first. And so I know there's been feedback at the margins about how the survey could be designed, but I think there'll be just really interesting directional themes that will come out of it, and so appreciate everyone who is participating.
Right. If you were going to say, just from your point of view, not that your goals are going to define everything
Yeah,
or anything, if you were going to pick
yeah,
two or three goals just
yeah,
right now, not having heard from
yeah,
everybody yet, what
yeah,
would you think
yeah.
those might be?
Yeah, so at least three that come to mind are, for one, I think like bring cell tower to resolution, member experience, and hedgerow rehabilitation. And I think sort of hedgerow rehabilitation is an ongoing process, and I think being able to sort of make thoughtful continuity there, give people data on all the like we took the saplings from different parts of Sea Ranch, like what have we learned along the way so that data can inform our strategy for rehabilitation. I think that's really important. I think there's steps to improve the member experience, and it's already been helpful in these first couple of weeks, seeing people write in to the board alias with feedback on just small things at the margin that we as a team can do better to serve our membership. And then finally, on the cell tower, I know it's a contentious topic. I know people have different opinions. I think it's really important that there's specifics shared with folks on sort of the offers available and what does and doesn't happen. And I think people are really seeking resolution one way or the other. So hopeful there's meaningful progress on all three of these.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard from some of and you're correct, the cell tower has uh, brought up a number of points of view, and there has been, a fair amount of contention both ways. Or
Yeah.
always. There's not just two directions, there's multiple directions and
Yeah.
everything. One thing I've heard as I've talked to people is a concern about a lack of transparency around the cell tower and how decisions were getting made or
Yeah.
how people perceive decisions were getting made.
Yeah.
Is there some validity to that, or
Yeah.
are we okay?
Yeah. So, I mean, at some level, it's not just what the message is, but it's how it's received. And I think the feedback we've heard loud and clear is that people expect more transparency. as a member of Sea Ranch, I feel similarly, and I think there's an opportunity to be more transparent with like specifics of like, for example, what is Verizon and T-Mobile willing to pay? Is this something the association is funding first with the hopes of recouping the expense, or is this something that's entirely borne by telecoms? I think there's a lot of debate in the absence of those specifics, and to the extent that we can share specifics, I think it's just a more informed discourse. So I'm hopeful that happens sooner rather than later.
Yeah, yeah. Let's shift from over to sort of the members' point of view. Are you hearing you've given us three possible goals, worthy goals, I think most people would say. Are you hearing from members? Are there other issues or goals or priorities that maybe you've heard from people since you've
Like
been elected?
Like one thing we've heard, even from folks like you, George, was about, and others on the listserv is about like how do you drive new volunteer participation across the association. I think there's an opportunity to just get most folks involved in different things going on at Sea Ranch, and so I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I think at the margins, there are folks who write in with feedback on their experiences, sort of designing their houses, dealing with issues on parts of the trail that are disrupted, and so we need to make sure we're responsive to we're both consistent in how we approach these things, but responsive to each of our neighbors.
Yeah. Let's drill down a little bit into that volunteer issue, if that's okay.
Yeah,
You know, I've noted, a number of people have noted, that there's been a decrease in volunteer participation. I would say maybe over the past 5, 6 years, something like that. We've had, and there's a lot of forms of volunteer participation, obviously, but I'm thinking specifically of those that are housed within the structure of the association.
yeah,
There's plenty of ways all up and down the coast to volunteer. Many worthy
yeah,
organizations, lots of good things to be done. But let's limit it to the association. We've got policy committees, which there are three of those that really operate under the direction of the board, under the governance of the board, and there's the so-called operation committees, which generally exist under the community manager. We've seen a drop off there. I'll throw out one example. The Utilities Committee, perhaps, I don't know, I'm going to say 18 months ago, 2 years, in a show of what I would call frustration,
yeah,
resigned en masse. And,
yeah,
and it was kind of shocking because I think to a lot of people, there seemed to be quite a bit of expertise
yeah,
among the members of that committee. Some people with engineering and infrastructure backgrounds, quite a bit there, and it indicated to me it looked like a high level of frustration, and they finally just said, "That's it, we're done." Now the Utilities Committee isn't alone. There have been shakeups with other things.
yeah,
What specifically can we do? Should we do? Because we're not
yeah.
seeing new people come into the supply stream of volunteers.
Yeah. So I'll take a second to talk about volunteering in general, and then
Sure.
talk about the committees you mentioned. But
Yeah.
you had to be at, as both of us were, at the volunteer firefighters fundraiser, which is I think happening for the 53rd year. And you couldn't help notice not only everyone volunteering, serving food, volunteering with their time and contributions, but even like neighbors going hours in advance to set up to participate in that. I think that's not a once in a year thing. I think it captures the ethos you see across Sea Ranch, whether it's folks helping on the archives committee, helping with being sealed docents and the like. I think folks
Mhm.
are happy to volunteer. I think there was like kind of the COVID burst. There was like the dampening after that, and I think there's a real opportunity to engage more people and engage more people in new roles. Specifically, as far as the utilities committee goes, as board members, one of the things we get to do is to be liaisons to different committees. I like the word liaison because you're effectively a messenger. It's not oversight. You're not telling the committee what to do, but you're kind of playing messenger. And so Dane, our new board member, Dane's if I remember correctly, our liaison to the utilities committee. And so I think
Yes,
there's an
that's correct.
opportunity to and clearly if you look at like the votes and the like there's a lot of enthusiasm about his participation. And so I'm really excited. I think he brings a fresh perspective. He's also an expert in this space. This is what he did professionally at Sonic for decades, and so I think and helped in the early days when the then community manager was setting up Sea Ranch Connect and the like. And so I think great to have a new face. Great to see how they kind of reconstitute and bring new folks onto the committee and I defer to him on that. But also great to just see people with that expertise helping out, and so I'm excited to see how that develops.
Yeah, yeah. And we certainly, I think everybody kind of agrees. You might not, but I'll throw this out anyway. Um, that member engagement, I mean, this is volunteerism is a piece of that.
Yeah.
Transparency is a piece of that. But engagement with the members in a meaningful way, in a way that people feel that their thoughts and their opinions are heard.
Yeah.
Um, can we do better, or are we just fine?
I think I think we start from a better place than we sometimes fear, but I think we can absolutely do better. And I'd love advice from all quarters and how we can do that. Like for starters, like I think the group is certainly the management team, the board. We're fundamentally here as a volunteer group to serve the membership, and so it's important for us to be a voice for what we hear from the membership, and I think generally even the tone and tenor of discourse has to be civil and respectful and just paying attention. And one best way to do that is to start by listening. Like that's why again, I'll just plug the survey once more. Really encourage everyone to put together the survey. When we did our little huddle around the survey, we one of the things we deliberately did was to try to have kind of like open-ended boxes so that folks can say, "Hey, what is it that we are doing that you think you should do more of? What is it that we're doing that you think we should be doing less of? And simply, what is the issue that really matters to you that do you think just isn't getting the attention it deserves?" And so it's a little bit about the scores, but it's as much about those white boxes because I think that really exposes blind spots. And if there's something that a member or a group of members cares a lot about, I think this is a good opportunity. And someone asked the question, will the results of the survey be shared? Of course it should. And so I'm hopeful that we can broadly share, what we're learning from it.
Yeah, yeah, that's really important. I observed I was speaking with Dane just the other day
Yeah.
recently, and I was reminded, and I'll just share this with you. I was reminded of something that uh, I think one of our greatest American poets, Maya Angelou, um, stated. You're probably familiar with this, but she said, and pardon me if I don't get this exactly verbatim, but she said. People won't remember what you said. People won't remember what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Yes. Yes. That is I mean, incredibly well said. And gosh, I wish I learned that better like 20 years ago, but now's as
Yeah,
good as any time. But no, I think that's incredibly important.
yeah. And maybe that's how you earned. Sorry to make a personal observation. Maybe that's how you earned the tiny bit of gray in your beard.
Oh yeah,
And
there's
was
a fair bit of it. Yes.
that that's an honest way to come by it, I would say. Um, Nitin, anything else you'd like to comment on or offer to our viewers here?
Just like that, I think would love specific suggestions. So just like as you fill the survey, or just you have an idea and you want to shoot an email to the board or Menka or both of us, like please do, and no idea too big or small. I think we welcome all advice, and I think the collective brain trust of C Ranch is really great, and so welcome. Like if in some ways, if the last several months were about kind of speaking more generally about Sea Ranch, I think now we're getting to brass tacks, and please put me and Dane and the entire board to work. And so if you have specific things you'd like to see that could be better, like let us know, and we'd love to be of use.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much. To our viewers, we've been conversing and hearing from Nitin Rao, who's one of the newest board members of the Sea Ranch, recently elected. Nitin, thank you for your time, and we'll encourage everyone to participate through surveys and I would say any other way of communicating that works. So we can reach board members through emails and so forth. But as Nitin said, I'll echo what you said. You'd like to hear from people.
Yes. Thanks so much, George. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Nitin. Thank you. Take care.